Hello, and welcome to the Dad and Sons podcast. Today, we're going to talk about stuff, just like we usually talk about. We have Liam.
Hi, no scandals here.
Yeah, once again.
Then we have George.
Once again, we end up having to preface this with the other topics that we don't want to bleed into the main podcast.
That's last week's news.
I'm amazed that nobody really knew. Wow.
Ah!
Is that a drone outside your house?
I feel like that's the guy we're subtly talking about stalking me. That's a whingy motorbike.
This week's news is gotta be Detective Pikachu.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
Is that it? We just introduce me and then skip over the other guy.
Oh, no, I said George, but George was too busy dealing with the drone.
No, I caught it. I caught it in editing. Make sure he introduces George. There we go. Cool. But yeah, Detective Pikachu.
That was your introduction.
Yeah, hello, I'm George. How about that Detective Pikachu?
Okay, I was super giddy for this movie.
So we've all seen it, right?
We all seen
Yes.
it. We saw it.
Okay. Spoilers are abound.
Up until 27 minutes and 27 seconds.
I cannot say that I am just swept up by nostalgia. And me and nostalgia are just like, in the bed constantly having babies. I can't say that. I can't say that I'm not biased, because holy hell, Pokemon. This is the stuff we dreamed about when we were young, where people constantly watch YouTube videos of people trying to do shitty renders of 3D Pokemon. And it's there. And, they showed a lot of Pokemon. They did not pull back. Like, when they show cities and like, shots panning, it's always a Pokemon on screen. Constantly moving around.
Honest advertising.
I'll agree with that, but it is obvious as the film goes on that they like to reuse the same ones, because they're like, well, we made this model. We're going to have to use this again.
Actually, I didn't get that vibe, but I imagine that someone who does 3D modeling would see stuff in this movie that the rest of us don't.
The evolved form of that, the big like fat panda thing. You see like a various amount of Pokemon. But then as the film goes on, apart from like the Greninja, you tend to only see like Bulbasaur, Charmander, Pikachu, Squirtle, Mewtwo, Psyduck quite frequently after that. You see some cool ones though, but there's like an abundance of them.
Yes, the iconic ones, the best sellers.
Wait, Matt. So I'm unsure as to whether you liked it or you didn't.
All right, so the first half, great.
Yeah, me too.
Second half was a definition of a train wreck.
That's the thing.
Holy hell!
Like, but
oh my god!
My mind is full of yes, comma, buts.
No, it was. It was good enough.
Yeah, but
I enjoyed this film.
Yeah, but
I walked out that theater. I was like, "This is cool. I don't care because nostalgia. I cannot
it was
be
good enough.
Yeah, it was good
it was
enough.
Fine,
but it was a train wreck for the last half. As soon as Homeboy showed the hologram to him, the movie was over. It was done. Mm-hmm. I was like, wait a minute, you're not going to question him? He knows where the place is at.
Why?
He knows where the place is at. Why is he showing you a hologram?
Why?
Like,
I like how you're getting.
Why does his hologram have all these better angles than the police's hologram?
And how are these you're like, okay, no, this is a Pokemon. I was okay. That's fine. That's fine. We move on to the next bit.
I like how both of you are getting hung up on a hologram instead of the psychically manipulating Mewtwo.
No,
who is the most powerful psychic Pokemon in the world. And somehow he was able to take over Mewtwo's brain.
And the villain's plan only makes sense thematically, not practically. Like, he wants people to mind control their Pokemon, but only because he has, like, a bad body disease and wants to have a cool Pokemon body instead, but...
How did they figure out that Mewtwo had the power to, like, switch people's brains out?
Because Mewtwo is God. Haven't you seen Pokemon the movie 2000?
Like... If he's got... Well, yeah. As Matt has alluded to, the second half of the film
It's trash. It is trash.
It's pretty shit. But the first half and like the middle bit up until like they get separated is great.
I also
like,
posit
truly a good time.
that the first 10 minutes of this movie have a very different tone from the rest following it. You guys remember the very
it gets
first
really
scene?
dark.
Like when they're with the Cubone in the field and they're just like cracking jokes about like it's weirdly more self-aware and sarcastic in the very beginning than it is for the rest of the movie. Like how often do they talk about how they're insurance agents after that?
And the innuendos, the very very adult jokes.
yeah.
Were
Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of SpongeBob humor.
Yeah.
Like it is like there are jokes in there that are just gonna like fly over like younger audiences' heads, but you as an adult, you're like, oh shit, did Pikachu really just say that? Like when he's like, oh, they touch me, they cuddle me, and they put their finger in me, and I'm like, holy fuck, what?
Pikachu said, "Damn." Pikachu
This
had
is Ryan Reynolds riffing.
an angry outburst, and he let out a couple D-bombs. I was very, very worried for the children.
So
Wait. This is a couple. I could pick this movie apart. I understand, but we're not gonna waste time on that. I'm just gonna. I just a little bit annoyed at the I forgot who plays the side with the side duck, the girl who plays with the side duck.
The girl who plays with the Psyduck,
her. The side duck
girl
and Pikachu guy, Justice Smith. Justice Smith actually did okay. I'm not gonna. I was worried about him.
I thought he was fine.
He was fine. And of course, Ryan Reynolds was great. And I don't think he was Deadpool in this. I thought he was. If you ever see Ryan Reynolds before Deadpool, this is Ryan Reynolds. This is how he does things. You ever seen Voices? Everyone knows him as Deadpool. For some reason, everything is Deadpool now. But no,
it's such a good fit.
He just knows.
A good fit, though.
He just knows this is his thing. He knows how to do this thing. She breaks into the lab, and for some reason, no one's there.
Yeah. It's very, very convenient.
So maybe it's abandoned, right? Maybe.
After
but the
Mewtwo
Pokemon
attack,
are still there,
supposedly.
though. The Pokemon are still there.
Isn't that also convenient?
Yeah.
Well, they were all in tanks, right? They were all genetically experimented on. So it would.
What do they eat?
I can forgive it because it does make sense in the fact that they had this major accident, right? And then a police officer died. So you're going to have all of the police swarming all over the facility trying to investigate and all that kind of thing, maybe. Or they just straight up just abandoned it. You just leave it as is. You don't want to release all these genetically experimented on Pokemon into the wild, but then that guy somehow can control the tanks and knows that there are like
ecosystem of the valley maintain itself if it's made out of giant turtles? What did they eat?
Okay, that was the dumbest shit in this whole movie.
That is what I was trying to get to. That part right there, because the journey to that, okay, because you see the Pokemon, they walk by the little turtles, right? So you're saying maybe they angered the little turtles, right? And then the whole freaking island starts moving. Pikachu gets hit by little tiny rocks. And says, oh, I'm dying. I'm dying.
Like a seismic earthquake.
At that point, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I was like, wait, he's joking, right? I thought Ryan Reynolds was gonna do the thing, like, oh no, I'm just kidding, kid.
Also, the lab. How big is this lab? Because they have these literally island-sized turtle rocks or whatever they're called, like these island-sized. They are literally ginormous. These huge earthquakes, and then all of a sudden, Tim is able to make it back to the fence where the car was, and none of that land is destroyed. In any way.
It nicely folds back underneath the turtles who have just been lying there sleeping, I guess.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was the dumbest shit.
I have some guys scientific questions.
Oh god, that is again.
Professor George. Welcome to the world of Pokemon.
Are Pokemon persons?
Oh no.
If they are capable
in Rhyme City, they are.
Well, then what about all the ones that are in the wild?
I don't know, hunting, sport.
Do they have senses of self of identities? Because apparently they have like a fully well-developed Pokemon language that I remember a few episodes of the cartoon get into this as well, and it freaked me the fuck out back then as well.
Oh yeah, when they had all subtitles between the like, it'd be like Pika Pika, and he'd be like asking Squirtle where is something.
When Ash gets separated from the rest of the group, the gang has to find him, and they like Pokemon at each other, but apparently it's a language. Anyways, yeah, how do they determine who is the Pokemon's master and what their lifetime of servitude is going to be like, and why they aren't allowed to like live on their own and be able we also see in the beginning of the movie that Pokemon have been interacting with people with this fully developed language system going on as far back as like ancient Egypt. How is it that it's been thousands of years and people have not worked out a better method of communicating to their Pokemon than like cocking their heads to the side and going, "Oh, aren't you the cutest?" when that Pokemon might have taxes to pay?
Oh my god.
Well, considering you all live under a political system of
You all.
We live in a society.
you break the society rules and you go to prison, I guess in the Pokemon world, those Pokemon break those laws.
Oh
They
yeah.
go to
Do
they go to the Pokemon pound.
Do they have Pokemon jail? And if so, who are the Pokemon police? And who enforces?
It's probably more of a Pokemon kill shelter, I imagine.
Oh dear. Is that where all the candies come from?
It reminds me of Eager Raptor's cartoon. We eat tourist meat.
Well, actually, me and the girlfriend did start talking about this on the way out. What do the Pokemon eat?
You guys are delights at parties.
We solved this problem. They eat rare candy.
Yeah, rare.
They eat TMs.
It's rare because it's only Pokemon that have broken the law.
And that answers that question.
Answer another question though.
Yeah.
Is it the best video game based movie?
Oh,
Yes.
see, this one also confuses the fuck out of me too, because there have been like 4.
It most certainly is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, but there have been like 4 other Pokemon movies. Did they not count?
The anime movies do not count. We're talking like
Real life,
Hollywood,
yeah.
Prince of Persia, Doom.
Because
Assassin's
Creed.
unlike other Pokemon movies, which are based on a video game franchise,
Super Mario.
this is the first big one to be based off a particular Pokemon video game. So I guess it counts.
Yeah, it does.
This is the game. Yeah, this is based on the game Pokemon. Game.
Well, there's Detective Pikachu. That's a game too.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't
Yeah,
come over
true.
here in the U.S.
Were you guys pissed off as much as I was when there were shots with Pikachu without his hat on?
No.
Like every time he was on the screen where he didn't have his hat on, I was like, put his hat back on.
But it requires too much time. You remember when Justice Smith tries to put the hat back in and it obviously was CGI? I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Just reminds me. It reminds me of the petting the dog, like in Game of Thrones argument,
Yes.
where they just can't afford the CGI.
Did you guys get a trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog in your theaters?
Yes, and everybody was like, oh no, I knew they were gonna do this.
How did your crowd react?
Yeah.
Mine were Japanese, so nobody said a thing.
Okay. Matt, how was yours?
After the initial reaction, like, oh, everyone fell silent. And let it just pass.
We got a trailer for like this is super weird. We got a trailer for before Detective Pikachu. We got a trailer for a Japanese movie called Night or something, and it features the guy from Battle Royale in it. And it was like an 18 rated movie that just had like shit tons of like sexual themes and like violence in it. And I was like, there's like 100 kids in here to see Detective Pikachu. And they're just watching like people getting brutally murdered inside of a nightclub.
Oh my god.
You can't have kids watch the Sonic trailer either. It's scary. It's terrifying.
Wait, they came out with another Battle Royale in Japan?
No, it was the kid from Battle Royale, like the main guy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they did come out with a second one, a sequel that was shit, but
Oh, okay. Because I have it on my Plex, and I'm like, I need to watch
Fujiwara, that guy.
this. Yeah.
Wait, you've never seen Battle
I
Royale?
haven't seen it. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I
Once you watch Battle Royale, it'll make a whole lot of sense how it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that that's what the games are called.
It also makes a heck of a lot of sense that Hunger Games is just a straight up rip.
Really? Okay.
Also, the film was called Diner, and it's not out yet, but it's coming out in Japan soon. But the trailer for it looked pretty badass.
I need you to send me all the good martial arts movies, man. I've been looking.
This is like I think it's a gangster movie, but it's about a dude who's a chef who's also a gangster.
Okay,
I'll send you the trailer.
Okay,
but it looks really good. It reminds me of there's a Japanese band called Dadandsonspodcast Gray, and they have a video. If you really want to go down a weird deep hole,
yeah,
type in obscure on YouTube with Dadandsonspodcast Gray after it, Diren Gray, and then that video basically is what this movie reminds me of.
I had a segue going, but then I started thinking about long deep holes instead. But okay, no. Anyways,
wow.
to
So
bring it
did
back.
Pikachu.
Yeah, my audience, there was a sigh at the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer logo, and then they actually started laughing when they showed the model, and it was terrible. And I just,
It is terrible.
I actually recorded it and put it on Twitter, and the tweet kind of blew up, and I feel so bad for the people who had to work on that.
yeah. I mean, they're like, oh my god, they just don't understand Sonic.
I feel even worse for the people who now have to spend the next 6 months
Changing it. Crunch
changing a
time.
whole
Talk about
movie.
crunch. That's insane. That's insane. It's insane. They're like, oh, we got to change it. We got to change it. No one's going to go see it. Everyone's going to talk shit about it.
And it reminds me, do you remember when we had that Toy Story talk a long time ago about
Oh yeah.
when you have to change models and shit?
Yeah, and how Toy Story looks pretty behind the times nowadays, and it was about a remaster.
It was about a remaster, right? And it depends on what kind of remaster you're going for, whether you're like updating it entirely or you're just going to make the resolution higher or whatever, right? And recolor it. But in regards to the Sonic movie, they have to basically go through the whole movie and change every scene that has the main character in it and refit that model. And they have shot that whole movie for the size of what he is right now, the proportions of what he looks like.
And I wonder how feasible it is to change those proportions, because he really does look like a man in a motion capture suit.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Man.
Okay. Before we move on from, I was about to say Sonic, Pikachu. All right. I want to talk about the ending. All right. I guess you can map this out. This is like major spoilers compared to what we talked about before. We didn't really spoil too much, I would say.
Psychic Mewtwo. Mewtwo being mind controlled.
Oh, yeah,
by
we
the bad
did.
guy.
Yeah, okay. I do want to say, I think the Pokemon looked fine.
Me too.
Yeah.
I fully
Charizard
agree.
looked a little off, but
That was literally the only one in the whole movie I didn't like.
I just
The Charizard
explained.
didn't look good to me.
I just explained anything that looked weird or off as that being the point, because it's all grimy and urban.
yeah.
No, just like all the Pokemon looked like the Pokemon. Like Bulbasaur and Squirtle and Charmander all looked like them. Pikachu looked amazing.
Yeah,
of
they
course.
spent the most time on him.
Pikachu actually became like my favorite version of Pikachu.
Yeah, it was good.
yeah.
Especially when they
I'd
released
like to
like
hang out
you
with
know
this
the dance
one.
video. You know they released that dance video.
He's got kind of a charming dad body quality to him. Like you can see
It's
some
not even
folds.
that. It's just that his facial expressions are like really deep now. They have like the video that they released where Ryan Reynolds pretended it was the whole film getting leaked on YouTube, and it was just the Key and Peele dance sketch, but Pikachu doing it. Pikachu has like so many different facial expressions in it, and he looks amazing. He looks fantastic.
Which goes with the anime, because he has a lot of face expressions in the anime.
I mean, he has some.
He has
the
a
anime's
lot.
like 20 years old now.
But, you know,
it didn't have that much back in the day.
Thing is, like, I think Matt touched on this as well. Like, it's still not. It's only good enough, you know, which is fine.
It's a good time. Like
the thing is, it doesn't have to be amazing. Like,
yeah,
because
I agree.
as long as it looks like Pokemon, then I'm okay with it.
Was there?
Like it
Was
looked
there a
like an
moment
indie
in the
movie. It
film?
looked like I was watching someone who had a lot of time on their hands to make a Pokemon movie, and they rendered it themselves.
You know, those first 10 minutes especially give me a, like, college humor sketch video vibe to them.
Yeah, it's very weirdly for a series that's now like 20 plus years old. It's very millennial.
They make fun of the theme song from the cartoon.
Oh my god, when Pikachu sings it,
Yeah,
it's so fun.
like there are
like,
in-universe jokes about the universe.
It's so fucking dumb and stupid. And what made me laugh even more was watching it in a Japanese cinema where none of the Japanese people would get the reference because the theme song's entirely different.
Oh. So yeah, like
the global warming. He makes a lot of jokks that are just
Ryan Reynolds' Pikachu is fantastic. I think
it's pretty damn good. I want to say
a lot of that movie gets away with it just because of him.
The ending. I want to say, what did you think when you find out that his dad was inside?
It's
the person
funny,
next to me turned to me and saw my face just like, I was like, oh no.
Did you not guess that from the beginning?
No, I did not.
Really? I guessed it midway through when they were in the lab.
Oh my god. As soon as Pikachu said he had amnesia and it was his dad's partner, I was like, oh, that's his dad.
But you know what though? Is that's fucking hilarious.
I gave it too much credit. I thought maybe like the it wasn't his Pikachu or something like that. I thought it was gonna do some type of twist. No.
But like they wanted to disguise his dad, and I didn't think it was because his dad was actually Ryan Reynolds. I thought it was going to be, honestly, because obviously Justice Smith he's obviously got like a white parent and a black parent, right? But Ryan Reynolds is like really white. So I thought maybe his dad would be like black and like, you know, like this kind of.
It mixes like that. Sometimes.
So no, but like what I was so shocked about was that I kind of thought it would be his dad, and obviously you hadn't seen his dad's face throughout the whole thing. But then when it actually was Ryan Reynolds,
that shock
coming out,
it's good that it didn't show
because
like, that shock was funny.
Oh, they actually just went with it being Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it's funny.
I thought it was sweet.
Yeah, so there's like an element of self-awareness to it that I really appreciate. And if anything, this has me like confident that the first actually great, actually solid, cohesive video game movie is going to be something that people aren't supposed to take seriously in the first place. Like this establishes a direction that I feel video game movies can have a lot more success in, and that is the campy, fun, self-aware comedy action shtick, rather than trying.
How did his dad get his body back again?
Because Mewtwo's God, I guess. Everything glows white,
and
then it's okay.
And because there's the scene where Mewtwo, it's all revealed that the Pikachu was a normal Pikachu with a hat, and then the Pikachu sacrificed its body for him to live on.
That's a scientific question I have, is what happens to Mr. Pikachu that whole time?
Well, his soul, I guess, was in the dead body of another man.
So yeah, I the only thing that I was a little sad about is that it still never got to a point of complete cohesion where I couldn't just point my thumb at the theater when we find out that the real dad was the Pikachu in us all along, and just like kind of point my thumb at the screen and go, "Yeah, guys, get a load of this shit." But I feel like we're going to get to a point soon where I'm not going to be able to point my thumb at the screen and say, "Hey guys, get a load of this shit."
But it's not only a video game movie, it is also a kids movie.
Yes.
It's not like Doom or the Street Fighter movie or
and those are getting better than usual. Like after Spider-Man, kids movies this year are the shit.
Yeah, no, like it was a good film for what it was, which it had two things going against it. It was going to ruin Pokemon, which would have been very easy. It didn't do that. It's a video game movie. It turned out to be pretty damn good, and it was also a kids movie, and it had a lot of adult jokes in it. So I feel like for what it had going against it, it fought pretty well.
It's like the coolest, funnest dad of all your friends in high school threw some sunglasses on, backflipped his way down the hallways on a skateboard, and shouted,
It is the Steve Buscemi gif, like, as a movie.
Steve Buscemi rips off his sunglasses dramatically and says, "Oh, hey, kids, did you just say all video game movies were bad? Well, check this one out," as electric guitars riff in the background. Detective Pikachu is fine. It's cute. It's okay, and that's all it needed to be.
Yeah. Was there a time when it was generally just not enjoyable? I don't think it got up to that point.
Well, I mean,
Come on.
when Pikachu runs away, says, I'm a bad Pikachu. I was like, man, this is really serious for a kids movie.
The Mr. Mime scene is like...
That got
like,
uncomfortable for a little while.
Why?
It's like scene of the year. It's amazing.
They were miming, burning him. They were pretending to... It looked like it pretended to hurt. They were miming some serious torture.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was good.
Like, it was just... And then I thought about it afterwards, and I was thinking, hot damn, Justice Smith had to act with two different Pokemon doing two different things on his own in that scene with all of that miming and all of that shit. I'm like,
and he made it
hot damn,
look
that's
good.
pretty impressive.
Yeah. He did really good. I have props for him. It's really good. I like, yay or nay?
Yeah, I could see it again.
Yeah. I say yay.
It's a yay.
It's a yay for me.
I could see it like one or two more times. And
For what it is, when you go into understanding that it is a Pokemon movie based on a shitty 3DS game called Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
And it actually turns out to be an enjoyable time. One, because Ryan Reynolds' Pikachu is actually pretty fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And scenes like the Mr. Mime one, it's worthwhile. Worthwhile time.
I just want a short thing. Game of Thrones. Just a quick. Man, season 8
Speaking of train wrecks,
is trash. Season 8
Speaking
is
of
trash.
train wrecks.
Okay, yeah. If you enjoyed it, I see some people enjoyed it. That's fine. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Don't get me wrong.
I did not, and that's all I'm gonna say about it.
That episode was visually very well done.
Yes.
And very well shot.
Yes.
And was horrifically brutal in many a way. Like, that was the most violent episode for a long time. That was like old Game of Thrones. Like, blood everywhere, people's throats being slit, like rapes and murders, and it was brutal. But my goodness. Character writing and just everything they've spent 10 years building up.
Oh.
Like...
Story arcs? What, character development? Character progression? Let's just throw that out the window.
We just have all of these characters and only 2 episodes to end 10 years of their plot lines in one go. Oh, Varys, that guy who's been like secretly spinning webs the whole series. Let's just kill him in the first 3 minutes of the episode.
What's the best one? What's the best one? Peter Dinklage literally saying, "Hey, I thought my character was smart." You know, he didn't say this word for word, obviously, but he said, why would he think putting people in a crypt was smart?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
because
seems
it's
like
dumb.
there are a lot of videos floating around of the cast being... I don't know how much to read into that, but there does seem to be quite a remarkable amount of videos of the cast being asked how they feel about the ending.
I hate
And
it
they
regardless.
are seemingly...
If they loved it, if they hated it, I still don't like what they did. I
don't think anybody did. I liked that episode. Like, there's a difference between liking the episode for what it was as something to watch and just caring about Game of Thrones anymore. And I am so deathly sad about the series, and it is...
Yeah.
Like, it is so obvious that that's what George R. R. Martin was going to do. Like, Daenerys was always going to go to be like a mad queen or something, right? Like, in the books, you can sort of see it. Like, she has been emotionally cold at times, and she sees visions and stuff. But books have the ability to flesh out the madness, like the descent into madness. Whereas Daenerys had one episode, and then she became a completely different character.
Yep.
Wow. Oh my god, and Cersei, the most evil character of all TV, died the dumbest, stupidest, flattest, like her body now, death ever.
Did they just ragdoll?
No, you don't even really see it.
Not even.
And it is just she appeared like 3 times in this season, the most like the big antagonist, the most important villain character in the whole series appeared 3 times in the final season, and one of them was dying a shitty death.
I'm just imagining some Telltale Games glitches of characters ragdolling in the middle of dramatic cutscenes.
She might as well have. I guess the physics of the building that crushed her fucking might have ragdolled her body out.
If she just, there's no way. Oh, she survived and she's in the next episode. I doubt it. That's
Like,
the
and that's
whole
the thing
thing.
is, you know what's gonna happen in the next episode as well, and it's gonna be shit.
Yeah. All right.
Like, Matt, do you want to take predictions? What do you think? What do you think will happen? Let's see which one of us can guess the predictability as correct.
I don't know. Jon Snow kills Daenerys, and or even Peter's character kills Daenerys. One of those two kills Daenerys. She's gonna die. She's gonna die.
She's gonna die. I think
for sure.
Jon's gonna die.
I don't think
Jon and her will
gonna be
die.
king. Might be somebody else.
No, I think her and Jon will die. Jon will try and he will maybe go and see her, and she's like an emotional wreck, and then Jon will do his White Knight bullshit that he does as a character and tries to protect her, and then Arya maybe has to stab him and kill him, and then Peter kills her, kills the Daenerys, and then both of them die,
right.
and then but
Arya
there's
is
nothing
supposed to
left
kill
of King's.
somebody with the green eyes, right?
She was supposed to kill the queen as well, you know.
I think
but Cersei died.
Does Daenerys have green eyes? I can't even remember.
Well, maybe Jon does.
Oh.
I think Arya might have to kill Jon.
Yeah, Arya's gonna
'Cause,
kill.
like,
Arya's definitely gonna kill somebody.
Jon will run to find Daenerys, and Daenerys will be like, "I'm so sorry, something took me. I'm an emotional wreck."
She's gonna be gone. You don't love me because you didn't have sex. We didn't have sex last night. That's it.
Yeah.
And Jon could have saved the world if he just had sex. If he just had sex.
Like, how did Bran not see all of this? Why did Bran
Bran
just
is
let
just his
this
character.
happen?
Who's Bran? Who's Bran? What are you talking about?
How did the three-eyed crow, Raven, whatever the hell he is, not? Well, he probably did see this, and the show writers were like, "Oh yeah."
I said I wasn't going to say anything, and now I'm saying stuff. It's fine. It's fine. The show has. I mean,
a mess.
It's a mess. It's bad. It's bad.
And it's really freaking sad because, let's be fair, Game of Thrones has been one of the best TV shows.
Yes, it has. And why can't people just stick the landing? Sad. I don't understand. The Office was going nuts the last season too. I don't, but it wasn't this bad.
I liked the last season as well, which is like even more frustrating. I actually thought last season had character development in it. Oh no, sorry, I thought you meant
Game of Thrones. Yeah, the first two were passable.
But that's what makes this season worse. Last season was all about like the Night King. Oh well, anyway, who even remembers what the Night King is?
Yeah, he's gone in 2 seconds. Runs away from fights. And, forget it. Never mind. He's the Night King.
Maybe the books will end better. But
yeah, I contradicting stuff. I remember him saying that he was gonna do it according to the books. According to the show, and then he said he wasn't. So
I still think like Daenerys going and being like a mad Targaryen was always gonna happen. Like she's too good. in the books, and she is a Targaryen, and like you see that she has crazy moments in the books where she has visions and like she kills brothers, she kills different people and all this kind of thing. Like it was kind of obvious that she was descending into a little bit of madness, and like, but it has time to flesh out, and you understand that that is the character development that's happening. Whereas just one episode and Daenerys like turns off a light switch in her brain, fucking kills everybody.
And
Fucking hell.
You know, the breaking point for her capture was dumb. Like all you had to do was a couple scenes of you capturing that boat.
Yeah.
And then whatever. It's garbage.
Euron swimming to
it's
the exact
like,
point of which Jaime Lannister is at so he can kill Jaime. It's like, you're fucking dumb.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay. All right. That's it. We shouldn't talk anymore.
I was about to ask. We got video games this week, or is this what we've come to? Is this?
I mean, you could shorten that. You could do whatever you want, man. I don't even care.
Well, the thing is, I won't know if
You can
I should.
George, you can cut off our Game of Thrones conversation like the showrunners cut off the series.
Oh my gosh. Well, a big difference there is that I think I'm going to be safe to leave that in. But yeah, we've talked about video game movies.
I feel like Danson's has fleshed out mine and Matt's character development better than Game of Thrones.
I played a game. What do you have you guys played a game?
Is it not a Game of Thrones?
No, not that garbage. No, you guys haven't played games? No.
I mean, I've played games, but it's probably
really.
less interesting than.
I keep playing Magic the Gathering.
Oh my god, I've been playing Stardew Valley.
It's one of those weeks. Okay, Stardew Valley. I feel like, didn't you try to pick that up before?
Yeah, I did, and I lost all my crop when the season changed. And I quit after that. I was like, forget this game. I don't like it that much to restart. That's for sure. I tried it again, multiplayer. So I was forced to, kind of get through that first, I guess, threshold. And I started caring about my farm. I started caring about leveling up, farming so I could get the sprinklers and going down to the mine, getting down to the bottom, and then I got to the bottom in 2 seconds and got all this gear now, and I got the scope. It just keeps going. There's always stuff. There's always the little breadcrumbs everywhere.
It's a big game.
Yeah, it's.
So what platform are you on?
Oh, PC. Come on, man.
Because I was wondering if they swept out or if they put out the multiplayer for the Switch version yet. Because I'm interested to hear what that's like.
Oh, that would be cool, actually.
I really got into Stardew Valley a couple years ago, but I was not able to handle the repetition of it on PC. But once I was playing it portably on the Switch, it clicked in a way better way than on PC. But I've been thinking of going back to PC for that multiplayer.
Man, I think after I beat it, I think there's a sort of
beat
end.
it?
Yeah, I want a mod just to make the day last forever because I'm so tired of that bullshit. I'm so tired of it. It's why do I have to go home? I don't want to go home. Why does the day last so short? But I guess that's a huge mechanic of the game. So, and the energy in the beginning is just absurd. It's so absurd. But you have to feel that in order to feel rewarded later on when you get some, you upgrade your energy somehow. And I get it, but it's annoying. I like MMOs when you can just mine whenever you want. Yeah. I think it's a good game. Long story short, I think it's a good game. After I got the right crops and, start doing quests.
You think you can speed that up with the multiplayer?
Yeah, you can.
Get two farmers
to the point
faster
that
than
you
one?
can gauge it. You can say, okay, I only want 75% of the money you would get from crops. And then the prices inside stores will also go up. But no, I don't want that. Hell no. I don't want that. I want to experience the game. It was just with 2 people. But yeah, it's good. It's a good game. It's a lot of extra time. So if you don't have extra time, don't play this game. Because if you like it, then you're going to be on it. And you're going to want to do one more day, then one more day, then one more day. And that'll be the end of you.
It's a time sink.
It's a time sink for
how
sure.
How long to beat has it at something like 80 hours, which has me surprising. So, okay, how do you actually even beat Stardew Valley? Because I got far enough to marry someone, and then I was good. I felt complete after that.
How many years did you do?
Oh, God, I don't know. 2?
So you reached winter twice?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, you have to do 3 years just to do that note thing, and I haven't done it yet. I haven't even done 1 year yet. I'm about to be in winter. Oh man, I'm gonna get loads of money. All this cranberries I'm harvesting. It's so good.
But in order to get all the way through all those years, like, you just have to sit and either wait or actually find something to fill that time with. And I think that's the question that had me stopping. Like, I had a good personal player-driven quest going of getting the marriage set up, which required a whole bunch of little steps. I wanted to fill the community center out. I thought that might be how you actually beat it, but if it's waiting for the timer to tick down, that's uneventful.
Did you do the community center?
Yeah, I got a lot of it filled out too. There were a few rooms where some seasonal specific fish were probably the hardest things to track down.
Part of the end game for sure, I think. Yeah.
Wow. So
I think
I might have been
like, you have to
going through
fill
it pretty
every
fast.
hole. Really. I don't know what the end is. But I know that there's like certain things, like I think reaching like that 3rd year probably, what that note says, and then filling out the community center is probably like around there.
I think
the end game is probably whenever you want it to be.
Exactly, that's been my logic. So long as I have a nice stable household with the nice stable family on the farm, I feel like that's the real Stardew Valley that was inside of us all along.
And I think it's good. What about you guys? Not Liam. I've been playing Elder Scrolls. Your Magic the Gathering is my Elder Scrolls. I
like how it's Gatherin.
It's just it's just got better. It's just got better. Like, it feels like I'm actually playing Magic, whereas during the beta it felt more like I was playing Hearthstone, and I was playing like a meta that I had to conform to because it didn't have a lot of Magic sets in it. So it felt a lot more restricted. Whereas now it has like a lot of the sets. It has a lot of the cards. I have like a big collection. I understand it better. It works better, and it just feels like I'm playing Magic.
You have to pay money.
It's like I have bought one thing that cost me $5. That was the intro pack that just gave me like a shit ton of gems for free.
Oh.
And I used it to draft once, and since then I've won enough games that I don't have to spend any money. And I basically, like, the new set that came out, the War of the Sparks set, I've almost got like most of the cards I want from that set to build the deck I wanted. And it's pretty fair from how I feel. I don't know people who play it normally. But, I don't play online games that much or have, like, like one of these live service games that people go to. Like, your sort of Path of Exile sort of addiction.
Yeah.
Like, I very rarely go back and play stuff a lot. But, it seems to, I'll play at least one game of Magic a day. I'll do my dailies and stuff. And, I'm really enjoying it. If anybody plays Magic, Arena, send me an email. I'll play a game with you.
If anyone plays Elder Scrolls, probably not this podcast.
Are you still playing?
Yeah,
are you still playing?
I quite like it actually. It's not bad.
Oh,
I'm just
have you
playing
bought
the
a
story.
subscription?
I'm just sitting there playing.
Have you bought a subscription?
Huh?
Have you bought a subscription?
No.
You.
It has a crafting bag. This
is the Maple Story.
No, it has a craft
moment.
No. It's not the Maple Story. I don't use those loot boxes. I never buy loot boxes. I've never bought a loot box, ever. That's good, right? That's a good thing to say. It's probably normal.
How much is the subscription?
I think it's probably normal.
How much is this?
Huh?
How much is the
It's a regular
subscription?
price, 15. But the reason why I get it is because you get a crafting bag, which puts all your crafting items in there. Or if you don't have it, it fills up your bag immediately. So you have to have like a mule, like another character, to toss all your crafting stuff in. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. That's like the one.
So you spent. So essentially, you spent $15 on a bag.
Yes.
Just not a real bag.
Well, I mean, you get crowns and stuff every month, but mostly I bought it for the bag because I need that convenience or I'm gonna quit. I wanna get through it. The crafting is actually pretty cool. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you, George? Made any bad mistakes?
I don't know how bad it'll turn out to be, but I'm doing that thing again where I'm playing Nintendo 64 games in VR this week. Topic for a video I have coming out is going to be that Breath of the Wild VR mode compared to Dolphin 3D, old Zelda games in VR mode. And that popping in Breath of the Wild to play it with the Labo VR headset has had it things snowballed, one thing led to another, and before you know it, I'm now a good 6 to 8 hours in on a new playthrough on the Switch. And wow, that game feels different without the time pressure to review it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Re-experiencing it with different mental priorities. Downtime is no longer such a alarmist issue because I don't need to power through stuff really fast to get it done. Yeah, no, Breath of the Wild's a lot more fun if for me, if I know ahead of time not to spend a bunch of time going through shrines all the time. Not to get deep down the hole that is the sledgehammer golf outside of Woodland Stables. Not chase after Korok seeds too much. Breath of the Wild seems a lot more better if I'm rushing the main quest and consciously stopping myself if I'm getting distracted by stuff off of it. It's that game, the first few hours of it, when you're also playing the tough economy game side of it, is just like wonderfully paced and balanced, difficult adventuring. Like this, the part of the game where you take one hit KOs from bad guys that are outside your level, and you actually have to plan around for it and buff yourself up regularly and juggle the very intricate timings of when your potions tick down to 0 so that you got to do a new one. That's good stuff. And it's reminding me that I really wish that they had a proper hard mode on for this Zelda, like the hero mode in Link Between Worlds. Just
don't they have that? They have that.
Well, it's a little different. The hero mode in other Zelda games will increase damage and health for enemies. In this one, it makes enemy health regenerate, and you also have to buy it as DLC, and that's primarily what's keeping me from playing with it. But I imagine that it makes this the weapon sponginess kind of exacerbate itself, because if you remember, it does not take a whole lot of hits for your swords to break, and some reviewers like Jim Sterling were just never able to adapt to that kind of play style, and I'm wondering what the play style looks like if you ramp that up a notch further and have enemies with regenerating health having you go through weapon after weapon after weapon. Because I'm still noticing some weak links in the system. Puns. One being that you don't have a solid melee attack with unlimited ammo to fall back on. You have the bombs, which seem like an elegant fallback for a system that is going to have your real weapons breaking a whole lot. And it's also still, even though I'm able to appreciate the downtime better than before, it's so slow.
It slowed the progress?
Yeah, it's and the level scaling, the world, it takes a hell of a long time to get from A to B if you don't have a horse. and you don't have a horse often because they don't have a lot of the system for carrying your horse around with you requires some check-in stops if you fast travel to the other side of the map, and there's a lot of time still spent just sprinting in one direction to the background, and I'm happy that I'm having a lot of more fun with it than last time, but it still seems weird to me that this game picked up on the way it did when the pacing is so incredibly like I wonder how if Red Dead Redemption 2 is supposed to be slow.
Oh, it's
and
slow.
And the Nintendo polish like gratifying, responsive, smooth Zelda is slow by my standards. I'm wondering how I'm going to be able to handle that.
Yeah, no, if you think Breath of the Wild is slow, then I don't think you'll be able to play Red Dead Redemption at all.
Dude, you'd be like, oh my god, why can't he walk faster inside the camp? Yeah, it's
You can go to the end boss in Zelda whenever you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, you have to play through the story. And it's long and slow.
I have a hell of a lot of respect for the stuff they did in the combat and the chemistry engine and everything. There's still cool tricks to discover when playing Breath of the Wild, but I still can't get over just how stretched out the map feels sometimes. Like how it is kind of an MMO world and in that aspect of its design. Man, the first few hours of that game are great though because of the difficulty curve. Anyways, it's fun going back.
I'm glad you're enjoying it more.
Yeah, definitely enjoying it more. But I still don't know if I'm gonna stick with it long enough to finish it a second time. I feel like I'm just seeing the height of that curve once again. The diminishing returns. The first few days with that game are fantastic, but it's after you notice the repetition and things that most things in life start to follow the law of diminishing returns.
You got me thinking of Red Dead Redemption again, and like basically the story is what you play for. You don't really play for the combat. The combat is just kind of there, right? What you remember from Red Dead Redemption is not the combat. Maybe like lassoing and stuff like that.
The combat in Breath of the Wild's better than I remember it. Man, you got some
Breath
good
of the Wild's
moves.
crazy. Have you seen?
Yeah.
Have you seen some of those things people do?
You can counter the goblins that they throw at you,
and like freezing them and tossing them around. It's nuts.
And
It's
I always found the weapon switching fun. I never had a problem with that.
I never do it. I don't like it. I guess I was lazy at the time to do it. I feel like I would do it now.
It feels
I don't know
fun
why it changed now, but
to ragdoll a camp full of goblins, swoop in out of nowhere, set a stick on fire, throw it at one person, pull a sword out of a different pocket, and slap a different person with it. That feels fun. You feel like you're John Link Wick sometimes with Breath of the Wild's combat.
Oh man, John Wick is
I'm
coming
okay
out
with it,
this
but-
week. I love those movies. Good
Anyway.
action.
I'm okay.
movies.
I'm okay with the degradation of the weapons. It just happens way too fast. Like, do it over an extensive period of time. This is okay.
So yeah,
It's not that quick.
weapons
Just
degrade
not
too
not as quick as Breath
fast.
of the Wild.
Transportation on foot, especially, is way too slow.
And there should be a way. One thing that is clearly, people get attached to certain weapons and certain items. There should be a way to repair them. There should be a way to, like, if you like an item, even if it's hard to do so, and you have to go to like a certain vendor or something,
Blacksmith.
just like
trade
it
all
gets to a
those
point
rupees for
where you
it.
can't pick up spears anymore because they're so shit at the point you are in the game that good weapons, when they come along, you should be able to go and at least for that moment repair them once before they break again. There should be an incentive to do that, but it's not in there. But
Also gives
it should
you
be.
that would give you something to spend rupees on, because this is still not. Yeah, they don't exactly have like a full featured economy going on, even though there's way more flow into and out of your inventory in this Zelda than any others in the franchise.
Aye.
Righto.
What I was saying about Red Dead Redemption is that I would have loved to see like Gears of War's combat inside Red Dead Redemption.
Bayonets.
It's just ridiculous. Just like being able to do actual cover combat good. I haven't played a game who has been able to do it properly. Being able to slide out of combat really quickly and blast somebody across the screen. I want that. Yeah.
You and I played Vanquish, I think, one night before.
No, you're thinking of another black friend.
Oh, okay. Well, you and I should play Vanquish sometime.
I need to play Vanquish, for sure. I need to. I need to play a lot of old Platinum games.
This is way funnier for Liam than the rest of us. Liam,
two things. One, Matt's comment about you having another black friend, and two, the fact that was so normal to Matt that Matt just carried on the conversation.
I was
anyway.
about to say, like, for some reason, I'm not questioning this thing like you are.
I just find it hilarious that you confuse Matt with your other black friend.
I'm sure that
I don't think there is another black friend. Most of the other
there have been a few.
We
gotta remember
they never stay long enough.
Matt, to be fair to
I'm the guy who stays.
Matt, as we found out on this podcast, Matt, remember George is colorblind.
But I live in Atlanta. Goddamn.
There can only be one black friend in a sea of white men. Let's just be honest, right? Like,
I went to elementary school with
Is George the white friend in a sea of black men?
I went to elementary school where the demographics had white people in the minority. It was fine.
Elementary school.
Yeah, round like.
There was middle school. There's high school. There's college. There's after college.
Well,
that's the break.
That's the break. We're broken.
27 banks in 3 years.
Everybody pray!
Anything to catch the perfect wave.
I'm not a crook.
Patrick Swayze,
Man, it makes me think twice about putting money in the bank these days.
Keanu Reeves,
So you think I joined the FBI to learn to surf?
Point Break.
Adios, amigo!
Hello, and welcome back to the Dad and Sons podcast. We're here to deliver the news in your ears.
Some kind of news.
We're gonna make your ears wet.
Yeah, so there's
The update.
there's a follow-up. New juicy bits about Randy Pitchford's flashy tricks.
we need to have like a Randy Pitchford and David Cage swear jar at this point.
Can there be like a Randy Pitchford audio cue?
There you go.
So what's going to cue the Randy Pitchford music this week is that we have further details from an interview from Newsweek about the particulars of the alleged physical assault that we had spoken about last week, in which David Eddings, the voice actor behind Claptrap, the unwitting voice actor apparently, who was actually more of a VP business role doing voice acting stuff on the side, He now says that this incident over physical assault involved him whispering to Randy Pitchford at the Marriott lobby at GDC 2017 about another employee, potentially another employee, wanting to sell the company. Randy got mad, but David Eddings refused to say which employee in particular was getting these rumblings going, and which point Randy then, quote, shoved the fuck out of him while he was on the balls of his feet trying to whisper. He knocked me back 4 steps. I believed I caught him in a deception. He also shared images with Newsweek showing that his ribs had apparently been bruised from this, allegedly bruised from this alleged incident. And
What?
again,
Like,
I know
this is
that there was some
petty bullshit.
there was some trepidation about why we should cover Randy Pitchford for another week. I feel this is why. The bruised ribs. That's crossing a line. That's wholly unprofessional, even by video game scandal standards. And this is also something that I feel could posit a lot of challenges in the future in terms of how video games as an industry are going to overcome the hits to their reputation that so many of their bosses and workplace practices and workplace cultures have been contributing to over the past couple years.
Isn't it also a bit dickish to be like whispering to somebody who owns a company in their ear that somebody wants to sell the company, but then not telling who? Especially if you're not attached to that company anymore.
Well, I don't know if he got fired before or after this incident, but it's a lot more dickish to shove the person and bruise their ribs. Well, now he's alleging that Randy did, quote unquote, in fact, rage fire him.
Intriguing.
And yeah, I don't know if you can really pin this on David Eddings here.
Yeah. Ooh. So this is what David is saying, right?
Yeah.
Bruised ribs and stuff.
Okay, he has pictures of bruised ribs.
Okay. Damn. That I was for David, and then now I'm not. I don't know if David was suing or anything, but I was for his, like, damn, that sucks. That sucks for David. Now I don't feel bad for David anymore.
Wait, are you confused? Because
yeah.
David's the one with the bruised ribs.
Is he actually?
Allegedly. He also sounds like he was probably being a bit of a dick. I mean, Randy Pitchford obviously has issues. That guy is...
Yeah. He shouldn't have pushed him.
What is unfolding? He's a monster. But it also sounds like, in some way, this guy is, one, he wasn't telling the truth in the beginning. He made it out like it was a full-on assault, like in a hotel, and they haven't spoken to each other since. Like,
right? Yes. True.
And it was like 4 years ago, but now when he's pressed to explain the
2 years
details
ago.
further,
2 years.
Like, now he's expressed to explain the details a little further.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, oh yeah, I was just whispering in his ear and he pushed me away kind of thing. I had a bruised rib or something.
If he hit the floor of a marble hotel lobby room, then that could happen, yes.
Yes, if that did happen, then fair enough. But it does sound like... I don't know, like it...
Yeah, it does.
I don't know if it was like Randy just literally knocking him to the ground. It does sound like this guy was obviously doing something provocative.
What?
Like trying to get a reaction out of Randy.
Yeah, like trying to. Yeah, exactly. Like trying to.
If you're talking to a guy who's he's thinks he's powerful or whatever, and it's very easy to get a reaction, then if you say something in his ear, you're probably gonna get a reaction. You know, if he's doing stuff
like whispering
on a normal basis,
isn't it like whispering to someone like, aha, like I think that this is gonna do. I've heard things about this, but I'm not gonna tell you who it is. Like, kind of sounds like that guy, especially if those guys already had some issues between them, which it sounds like they already did, because this David guy was in a high-ranking position anyway. If he's like spreading rumors and he's like, oh, someone's going to sell the company, but I'm not going to tell you who, it does sound like he's trying to provoke a reaction, or he's at least trying to anger him in some way.
Well, I think the other aspect to the story is that he didn't know who. And there are also two other sources who back him up.
You initially said he didn't tell him who.
Yeah.
Not that he didn't know.
Sure.
It sounds like he knew, but he wasn't going to tell him.
Okay, someone is trying to sell someone's trying to sell Gearbox, Edding says, mentioning Richardson. Richardson being someone who appeared to Eddings in the lobby. They don't clarify whether or not that's the person who sold who is trying to sell Gearbox, or if they even know. And the physical assault is not an appropriate reaction to that kind of social interaction anyways.
Oh, no, of course not. Like, as me and Matt have said, Randy Pitchford, of course, is just not a nice person in many ways, but it does feel like the full story... I'm not entirely sympathetic towards David if he was trying to provoke a reaction in the first place, which is what it sounds like.
Yeah, when Eddings refused to share his source, Pitchford got angry. Things escalated quickly from there. Quote, he shoved the fuck out of me while I'm on the balls of my feet trying to whisper. He knocked me back 4 steps. I believe I caught him in a deception, Eddings said. He shared images with Newsweeks that he claims were taken shortly after the altercation that appear to show minor bruising on his ribs. Eddings claimed that at least 2 people had witnessed the incident, Mario Kroll and Gearbox founder Lanton Montgomery. Kroll can't verify it. I was with him before and after, but had to step away to tend to one of my clients. Montgomery supports Eddings' story. Quote, David leaned up to whisper something to Randy, and out of the blue, Randy shoves him hard, he told Newsweek.
It's so hard to have an opinion about these stories because you just don't know the full story. There's so much here, much little things that
there's
happen.
Gotta be like history behind it.
Yeah.
Like I can just picture it in my head, like him trying to whisper something to Randy, like to provoke him. They're in the hotel,
or it could
so
have
why
been
is he
the
whispering?
opposite. It could have been the opposite.
Why does that even matter?
Man, I've been trying,
The story begins and ends with the bruised ribs.
Allegedly.
Right.
2 years ago, he took a picture of the ribs.
Confirmed.
Yeah? Wouldn't you?
I guess you don't say anything. You just take it.
No, he's saying stuff right now.
Yeah, but he got rage fired, right? Why not say it then? If you took
because it's part of a lawsuit now.
Oh man!
But he only brought it up because of the claptrap voice thing. So it sounds like now he's a bit butthurt. Okay. So now he's trying to get back at him, like.
Well, and also physically hurt on his ribs.
Yes, yeah. 2 years ago, like Matt is pointing out, like if he took pictures at the time and he was like
ready to do
very
something.
adamant that he got assaulted, like he was ready to do something. Why now? Why now when the claptrap thing?
Because when dealing with abusive personalities, you have to pick and choose your battles in order to not put yourself in more danger on the way there.
Yeah, but he's doing it now.
Yeah, which
but he was willing to go back and record stuff if he got
better than a lot of other cases in which stories of abuse have surfaced decades after the fact.
Oh yeah, like the abuse thing goes without saying. Like,
but this is a push.
Pitchford is obviously just not a good guy, right? But I do feel like it was probably he was getting provoked in a sense, and he pushed this guy away, and obviously way too freaking hard in a moment of reaction. Like, they're in a hotel, like why is he whispering in his ear? Like, it does seem a bit fishy, basically.
Yeah, the bruised ribs definitely seem very, very shady to me. I would not trust someone who has the potential to bruise my ribs.
You're very black and white on this issue there, George.
Yeah, no, physical
Which
assault.
is not usually you.
Nice gray area right here.
No, there's no gray for physical assault for me. I'm not going to be listening to both sides if one side has photographs of bruised ribs and a witness testimony.
All right, let's talk about something happier, like Final Fantasy VII. Maybe not so happy. Maybe not so happy. What do you think about it, guys?
It looks pretty.
It's fine. It's product. Product's coming out. People are going to buy product. The churns of the gears that oppress us will turn as slowly and painfully as they typically do.
I think everyone forgot that this is going to be just episode 1.
So does episode 1 take all solely in place in Midgar? Because that's what it looks like.
Oh God!
Or is episode
it has to
1
be
just
this
the
one?
first
If it's
mission?
not this one, then because this one is the only one I want to play. To be honest,
They didn't really show anything more from when they announced it, apart from like Edith, and like.
I'm gonna play the game,
Flowers.
not watch cutscenes. Hopefully.
I'm happy that they didn't make Barrett any less black than the translator made him 20 years ago.
People are really pissed off about that.
Really?
Right, that he's this character.
He's Mr. T.
This token.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, "Hey, we've moved
Oh
on from
wait,
this." And
no,
it's like,
I know why.
No,
Barrett.
this is a remake. This is
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically remake does put you
'Cause-
in that line, but still,
This is a translation thing, because when they were translating it 20 years ago with way shittier standards than people have now, the translator did use Mr. T as a like pop cultural character reference for a character who looks like Mr. T, but in the original Japanese script might not have been written to sound like Mr. T.
Well, it's not even that. It's just the fact that the script will have been completely rewritten. It will use the same things. Like, people have already used the scene in the remake of Cloud getting the flower from Aerith to compare it to what it was originally like, and there's a lot lost from that. You know, so the script's going to be completely rewritten, because it's not just a lot of text boxes anymore, it looks like. And a lot of it will be like cutscenes instead. So there is a lot they could have done, but I guess... Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have.
I'm fine. Looks
opinion
fine.
on Barrett.
yeah, I mean, I don't
They look
care.
like they're just going with the Advent Children Barrett.
I don't care. if you
Like,
want to
Advent
do it
Children Barrett was just like,
original, to
"Yo, boy,
stuff,
let's go."
I don't care. Like, they're not making it more black. He's not wearing like, I don't know, stereotypical
He looks like a
saggy pants, you know, and his gun is not actually on his arm. It's like, I don't know.
Matt, would you agree that he looks
in
like a
his
muscular
pants.
version of Blade?
Huh? Say again?
He looks like a muscular version of Blade.
Yeah, he does. He does. Really, he was a terrible stereotypical character before. He's gonna be that now.
I'm reading through the original script right now. The Barrett lines do have a lot of shortened words with apostrophes at the end. I don't know though. So far, the worst one I'm seeing is the planet's dying, Cloud. I remember
Is that it?
being way worse than this. I remember his lines having bleepity bleeps.
Bloopity bloop.
Yeah, remember all the punctuation they threw in?
My image of Barrett has been completely just clouded over by Advent Children Barrett.
Yeah.
Most of my character references
Yeah.
for Final Fantasy VII have been erased by Advent
Advent
Children,
Children,
and
yeah.
now I just remember that version. And now when I look at the remake, I'm just like, oh yeah, they're just making a game with the models from Advent Children.
Yeah.
When we blow this place, this ain't gonna be nothing more than a hunk of junk. Cloud, you set the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, apart from hunker junk, that's a pretty normal sentence.
Right? This Barrett in this translation is a lot more mild than the one I remember.
Yeah, I think they did like stereotype him up a bit more for Advent Children when he had a voice.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It looks fine. I mean, it's not going to come out for like 30 years, so it'll be fine.
My
I feel like the
emotional
longer they work on
investment.
it, the worse it gets. Is
Really?
that-
Oh, you think
isn't
it's
that
one of
what happens?
those?
It's most games.
Oh,
Oh, God.
what
I'm not gonna
I've
mention which
typically
games, but yeah.
been told is that the Nomura era is the one that has a lot of these things getting caught in development hell. I mean, you got to remember there were Final Fantasy games coming out pretty regularly every 2 or 3 years up until the PlayStation 3 era when budgets got out of proportion.
It's really funny you bring this up, actually, because remember I was saying to you, George, earlier about like something interesting I did last night.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, for some reason, do you remember me telling you about our little Taco Tuesdays here in Kyoto?
Yeah, at K Pasa.
At K Pasa? Wow, you remember. That's amazing. Big up to K Pasa. for some reason, somebody brought along the art director for Final Fantasy X, 11, 12, 13, 13 2.
Oh, the belt and zipper man?
No, that's Nomura. Nomura's the belt and zipper dude. This is the guy who did like the character design for Lightning and helped and was like the senior director for Final Fantasy XII's artwork with Amano. Like he does, like if you look at the cover art for Final Fantasy XII Zodiac. No, his name is Isamu. Isamu. What's his second name? Kamiko Kyuro, baby. Isamu Kamiko.
Kamehameha.
I can't remember fully what his name is.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Isamu Kamiko Kyuro. Yeah, I was right. So he was the art director for those games, and he was just randomly there yesterday, talking to everybody about Final Fantasy XII. Very intriguing.
12.
A coincidence or
12.
more?
You decide.
In your experience developing games, have you ever seen anyone who you might have suspected could have developed a actual diagnosable case of post-traumatic stress disorder from their time on the development team?
I've seen people have mental breakdowns.
Yikes.
For sure.
Yikes.
I've seen people who just can't come to work. And they seem like normal people, like, you know, when you talk to them outside of work, but just the idea of coming in and actually doing the work or being in the office.
Yeah, you can get inside your own head and you start to like,
yeah,
your breathing starts to change. You
start having panic attacks and stuff like that. I've seen that happen during crunch.
Kotaku has a piece up featuring a couple of anonymous reviews and one named review from people at NetherRealm Studios who are saying that they, and this is also another interesting question that you might be able to shed some light on, for referential materials for making the fatalities and X-ray moves, they actually apparently do watch a lot of real-life violent content.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This is really strange because I read this article and I was like, thinking back to an Ed Boon interview I listened to with, I think it was Game Informer, where they do that 101 questions thing where they rapid fire answer people, rapid fire questions at them. It's a really interesting series, but there was one with Ed Boon before Mortal Kombat 11 came out, and they asked him about the violence, and he was going on about how it has to be like comical and has to be like so far removed from like reality, like the idea of like using Kung Lao's hat to slice people in half is not something that really could happen, right? Stuff that breaks the physical boundaries, even though like the detail of the human is proportionally correct, but the idea of that violence is so overly comical that nobody could like reenact it or try it, or it could be referenced in a real world. So it's really weird for me to hear him say that, but then think about making like your staff reference, like I don't know whether it was a choice for these people to reference this stuff or for them, or it was like assigned to them as a task that they have to reference like watching real world hangings and beheadings and violence and stuff like that. That's just like beyond what's okay.
Am I naive to think like, why make a game where you have to lie? Am I missing something? I guess when you're bigger, you have to do some crazy stuff.
Or they're just so far removed, right? Like they're just so far removed from what actually happens day to day. Like fair play to Rockstar, I didn't have to watch like gun violence for my work on GTA 5. I didn't have to like embrace myself in gang culture to understand truly what like, gun violence is. We just made a game.
The quote at the end of the paragraph is, "The scary part was always the point at which new people on the project got used to it, and I definitely hit that point." And I don't think they're pinning this stuff on Ed Boon. It could have been a practice that organically evolved among the artists themselves. But this also does remind me of a similar story happening before with Capcom and Resident Evil. Apparently, the iconic shot and remake of a zombie peering over its shoulder to look at the camera comes from an actual photo of an actual murder victim, and that always weighed on the artists heavily. And that's not something you hear about often. Like, that's something like between now 2019 and that game coming out in 2001, that's an 18-year gap. So I don't know how frequently this is actually utilized as a practice, but if that's the case, it should be very disclaimed better for people on job applicants. They should be able to bring it up.
Everything is reference, right? Like, everything is reference. Like, you don't just make stuff out of thin air, right? Everything is reference. Every piece of art, every environment in a video game, everything is a reference to something. They have taken concept art and that has been developed from looking at other things, and then they've made it in a game. So for the intricate details of the human anatomy that features in Mortal Kombat, I understand that they would have to look at human bodies at a very in-depth level and understand where everything is and that kind of thing, and like what it looks like when it's cut in half. And I can understand some people might, like artists who are squeamish or stuff like that, would suffer with that, which then they shouldn't be doing that kind of work, which is fair enough. But what shouldn't be happening is thinking that this violence in Mortal Kombat, which is completely unrealistic, to reference real-world violence, we should make people like watch sick videos about like gore and stuff like that to get a reference is just wrong. That's completely different to thinking, oh, we need a science book textbook reference of what a body looks like.
Yeah, it's strange because some people do like to watch this stuff.
Matt says from experience.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't know something about it. I remember when I was a kid, there was this website called Rotten.com that had like beheadings and stuff like that, and I couldn't do it. I hated this stuff.
The live leak of back in the day.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. My 2 girls, 1 cup, the 1 man, 1 jar stuff that died because the jar broken. Yeah, like I that was it for me. After that phase, I was done. And
I hate them, but I'm the opposite, where my morbid curiosity makes me watch them anyway because they just seem so unreal. Like, it's such an unreal thing to me, even though it is, realistic. It's just something you do not see. Even though I despise them and I hate them, like my body, my brain, as soon as I see like a tagline that is like ISIS beheading, you're like, I don't want to click on this, but I'm going to anyway. It's like, stop it.
I don't click on it.
I get it. And I don't know if it should be mandatory. If people already watch that stuff and it helps them with their thing and they want to, whatever. They're
but that's exactly right. That should be entirely a choice.
It shouldn't be forced.
It just always seemed easier for me to imagine the moral dilemma between that stuff being available and it not, coming down to the question of whether or not, like, police officers, medical professionals, soldiers and judges and prosecutors probably might, have reason to watch this stuff. Video game developers... That's not what my brain comes to in terms of being able to justifiably argue why you have a collection of gruesome medical textbook photos lying around the house.
If you like Shinji Mikami, if you're Shinji Mikami and you're making Resident Evil because you're fascinated by horror movies and you're into that kind of thing and you want to use that as your own reference for that, that's fine. That is fine. If that is what your reference is and you want to make it look as realistic as possible, that's fine. But what you can't do is then force your own staff. I mean, it would happen in Japan because Japan's work culture is completely freaking broken anyway. But you should not be like asking an artist, I want you to look at this video link I've just sent you, and I want you to model a head cut in half like this.
So much of the problem is trying to figure out how voluntary a lot of these practices really are, and how much of it is a pressure that in practice might not be voluntary, but is at least said in the paperwork to be voluntary.
Well, yeah, exactly. Once again, it's not really a black and white issue. It's a well, did this person initially sign up to do this and they were like, I can do this, I can handle it, and then didn't, and then they developed problems and stuff like that? Or was this a mandatory thing like Matt said? It was different. Like what they were talking about in the Kotaku article was like not the same thing I've kind of seen. Like the thing I've just seen is work has broken people due to overwork.
Yeah, I was wondering if at Rockstar they had like videos of people getting shot in order to figure out how the gunplay should work.
I imagine some people have gone to like firing ranges and stuff like that, no doubt.
Well, that's different from there being actual victims.
Yeah. Exactly, right? Well, that's the thing. Like, you see actors going to like survival training and stuff like that, but it's still fake.
Yeah, they consented to the damage. That's
Whereas like forcing your artist to watch like ISIS beheadings in the desert to know how a head comes off is not.
Well, okay, we got some fun quotes. An anonymous developer says they saw a therapist because they could not get to sleep because of extremely graphic dreams that were very violent, that the therapist diagnosed them with PTSD. Fun quotes begin with, quote, "You'd walk around the office and one guy would be watching hangings on YouTube, another guy would be looking at pictures of murder victims, someone else would be watching a video of a cow being slaughtered." And then the scary part was always the point at which new people would get used to it, and I definitely hit that point. They also expressed doubt at questioning this in the very first place, and I can imagine this being the knee-jerk response from the gamers' rights crowd. Mortal Kombat it's Mortal Kombat. You start to feel...
Well, that's the thing. That's the other thing, right? Is if you're going to work at NetherRealm, that is the other side of the argument, whereas you knew what you were getting into, right? But it's not real violence.
I'd imagine, if anything, they would have like little Visible Man models and anatomical diagrams instead of murder victims.
Exactly. You are right. And from what like Ed Boon has been saying about like they try and remove it so far away from being realistic violence, so it's not like that. Then why is everybody looking at hangings and slaughtering cows and stuff like that? That just shouldn't be happening. It should be imaginary.
And then. I like this next scary, fun quote because it digs at how a lot of those reactionary arguments are basically self-anxiety manifested into words. "You start to feel like an idiot for thinking about what the impact of working on that game has been yourself. Other people I've talked to have been like, I know what I'm working on, I know what I've gotten myself into here, and then you start to blame yourself for being shitty or weak or spineless." And yeah, I can imagine that self-doubt, the self-anxiety, and the depression over the work that you're doing, amplified by that work having to be done in a shitty environment where people are looking at pictures of real people whose bodies have been destroyed, manifesting into an inability to sleep.
Yeah. Wow. I don't... Wow, I feel like I have an extreme opinion about this one. I don't know if it's right or wrong, to be honest. I'm looking at it as holy hell.
All the developer remembers getting during the interview process was a verbal heads up in which the interviewer noted that they were working on a Mortal Kombat game. The work could be, quote, a little violent, quote. Oh no, another coworker can't look at his dog anymore because he just sees guts inside of it.
Oh. I shouldn't be laughing.
And this is the weird thing. Like, if you think about it, like a lot of people are going to be listening to this laughing because they picture Mortal Kombat, and like you're not going to lose any sleep over what you've seen in Mortal Kombat. But that's not the point. The point is like the shit that these people have had to reference is real life crap. And when you can disassociate yourself from Mortal Kombat. You don't look at like Scorpion having his entrails pulled out and be like, "Oh my god, my own belly, pangs." But if you watch like a snuff video or something terrible, you can phantom feel that because your brain is like,
watch movies.
That's real. That's scary.
Watch those gross B movies and all those, watch RoboCop.
Whatever your brain associates with being real can and be scary.
Everyone should watch RoboCop.
I think
By
I
that
get more
point,
squeamish
Valerie.
with the fatalities in Mortal Kombat than I do with RoboCop, because it's easier for my mind to picture like cutting and slicing on my fingers sensation than it is getting shot. I don't know what getting shot is supposed to feel like at all.
Yeah.
So like the
Go work
squibbies
on
and the
GTA.
broken glass and RoboCop phase off of me. The slices and the dismembering, and yeah, I worked in a cooking school for 6 years. I cut my fingers a lot. I think I'm squeamish about that.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't like anything like fucking with my body.
Well,
Ugh.
you're right, Liam. You know, it is another realm. I just feel like they should probably use.
Oh yeah.
They should probably use another way because
I
it's
totally
obviously
agree. Like, it
affecting
should
their
be
staff,
imaginary.
and I feel like this is. I have to say this, even though it's common sense. Happy staff equals a better product. Happy staff.
Why do people not understand that yet?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because the products we
I don't
consume
know.
don't feel like they're made by humans.
Yeah,
Why do people hire PR departments? Like, just have happy people.
like, I wonder if these places have HR. Do HR work? Do they work? Or, you know, like, how many of you had retail jobs? Because those are the same thing. They do not care.
The HR people.
They'll just replace you.
The HR people at NetherRealm are too busy watching hangings to take your requests.
Oh God. Oh man. Whew. I can't imagine
What
going into
about
work
some-
and watching something I don't want to, like that something that graphic. I'm like, yo, I get it.
Okay, Matt. So we're gonna film this. It's a scene with 2 women and a cup.
No.
I want you to watch this video as reference.
No, not again. I do force people to watch it, though. 2 girls, 1 cup. It doesn't
So
make
you're
me
a part- you're a part-
squeamish at all.
You're a part of the problem.
I'm like, you haven't watched it? Great, let's watch that. And they're like,
Let
oh,
me
this
sit
is
you
porno.
down.
I'm like, keep watching.
Yeah.
It's the perfect date.
wish.
Like the ending off the date is the perfect way.
So
You'll wish.
I
this
just
was
want to let you guys know that
that you've never watched it.
I've watched like goddamn 2 seconds of it before slamming the laptop shut and walking out of the room. Our first
embarrassment.
our first listener question from Jamie P is all about bodily sensations and feeling them with your mind before you feel them for
wow.
real.
Let's dive
Jamie
into
P.
that then.
So if you would like to send us some questions, thoughts, suggestions, and topics and ideas on how to get audience participation segments blossoming into some weirder ideas, we're about to roll out some new formats soon, and would also be open to hearing some fan suggestions on what kind of audience participatory game shows.
We're going through change.
Any kind of social media response highlights. We'll get some new tricks going soon. But until then, Jamie P is wanting to follow Matt up on a request for non-gaming questions. So for a mostly non-gaming conversation that we had, at least for like the first hour of the podcast, Jamie P wants to know...
Do we ever talk about games on this show?
We do.
We talked about games for like 6% of the first segment.
No, we talk about it a lot.
Okay, yeah. Jamie P wants to know, what would be your ranking of the 5 fundamental flavors according to your own palates? Those 5 flavors are salty, sweet, sour, bitter, and umami. And umami references delicious, raw, juicy meat sensations that you get in Japanese food, like with sushi. This is fun. Right, guys? You guys know how to tackle this problem?
Umami.
From 1 to 5.
Probably the way he has it set up. I don't know what umami is though.
Okay, yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
I
because
don't know
umami
what that
requires
tastes like.
a bit of expectation. You know sushi, right? You've had sushi.
Yeah.
That's the flavor that is unique about sushi. It's the flavor that's unique about soy sauce. It's kind of a intense.
It basically just means savory.
Yeah. Tomatoes are good at it, but the difference between umami and savory, I feel, has more to do with how alive the creature was beforehand.
It's basically just Japanese savory.
I would put it before, so salty, sweet, umami, sour, bitter.
You know, they didn't put savory on this list.
Yeah, because that's what umami really is.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't
In
call
Japan, it's
spaghetti.
basically just savory.
So
Salty is different. In Japan, yeah, umami is what we would consider savory.
I'm assuming salty means just regular salted food, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Salt is
Like
easy to
French-
picture.
Like French fries and
Yeah.
stuff, right?
But
Wait, the first thing is French fries? What have you been eating, Liam?
Like just what
I had
else
some
salty
Japanese
that
sweet
isn't
potatoes
savory?
yesterday, and I'm gonna have some leftovers right now. It's good.
So that would be savory.
What? Seriously? Japanese sweet potatoes?
Like in my mind, it would.
Oh, then
tomatoes
umami is
are
first.
Umami.
Then umami, salty, sweet, sour, bitter. Bitter,
So-
I hate.
okay, thing is, in English, there's definitely a difference between savory and umami. You would not call a plate of spaghetti umami, but you would totally call it savory, but you would not call sushi savory. You would call it umami. And apparently...
Here is a list of general foods that have umami taste, or umami special. They are rich in umami components.
There's something
let's say.
about umami.
Fish, cured meat, meat extract,
Okay.
mushrooms, vegetables,
Yeah.
tomatoes, cabbage, spinach, celery, green tea, cheeses, fish sauce, soy sauce.
Umami's first.
So it is like savory, basically.
Yeah.
There's something uniquely metallic or something. It's hard to describe with words, but apparently there's an amino acid named glutamate, I don't know, but apparently that's the enzyme that makes umami taste the special way it does or something or other. I don't know. There's a science behind it, I swear.
Whoa, what is that?
That was a big ass truck.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure...
I heard it stop. I heard the brakes. Why can I hear the brakes?
I don't even know how to answer the question.
Because it's May and it's getting hot, so my
You're
door's
not
open.
on the first floor.
No, I'm not.
Oh, it's you. It's you, Liam.
It's me.
Oh, that makes
It's
way
me.
more sense. I thought.
I'm still not on the first floor.
Oh, Jesus. Are you high or are you still like close to the floor?
No, I'm the third floor.
They're giving out details.
So,
Third floor of some random building.
A ribonucleotide
Good luck finding me.
also
Wait,
contributes to an umami flavor.
Okay.
My ranking would be the older I get, I feel like it's the general thing that happens to everybody is you become more fond of savory.
Then sweet.
But then sweet. But I still like sweet a lot. So it's probably sweet, then savory, then salty, then sour, then bitter.
God. I don't know how I can rank these, because...
Because your palate is so technical.
For like 3 of these, though, you have some hard competition between them.
Yeah,
Savory, umami, and salty are like
Sour and
the
bitter is just at the
Triforce. Sweet, sour, and bitter just live in savory, umami, and salty's world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. And I
So-
would say umami I have most of the time, almost every day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Salty, probably not. I probably have sweet then.
Is pizza salty or savory umami? Because it's tomato, it's cheese, it's meat. or whatever you put on vegetables.
I think it's more savory. Like it's greasy and intense, and umami for me, it has some like purity to it. Like there's not like you have one flavor that every bite is supposed to be focusing on, rather than a combination of flavors.
Like a savory burger. Oh yeah.
Well,
All right. That's
there you go.
Well, thing is, does a salty crunchy compete though? Because a salty crunchy with like a hot sauce on it is for me, it's pretty high up there in terms of like the best flavor sensation of them all.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
Give an example of the food.
It pains me to say, but throughout the entire span of my life, I think salty has been the number one constant. Like, as a kid, I liked salty snacks, but I also liked a bunch of candy bullshit I don't like anymore. As an adult, I still like salty snacks, but I also like a bunch of veggie shit that I didn't like as a kid. Salty is the constant. Salty has stayed with me all these years, and maybe when I'm like a toothless 70-year-old man, I won't like it, but until then, salty has some strong legs to stand on.
Yeah, but salty requires surplus amount of liquids to go with it. That's always its downfall.
So you can't have saltiness without a quencher. Yeah, the others...
Yeah. I can eat savory without that.
Sour and bitter need a quencher. So yeah, that does give them points. Okay.
I can eat sour without a liquid.
Yeah.
I can't eat bitter. Though.
It's a tough competition, but gauging them on whether or not they need a companion is a good way to single out the ones that stand on their
Can they stand alone?
I don't think salty can. So it gets knocked down a tier.
Savory is like almost there with this. It's like a mix between the salty and the sweet. Especially like Japan,
And there's this debate over whether or not umami is a subset of savory or vice versa, depending on the language. So,
well, in Japan it is.
I worked in a company that made a lot of money off of the concept of blowing white people's minds that a fifth taste exists that's just not a part of European cuisine, and it's hilarious to hear how different the interpretation is when going through the language and culture barriers here. Anyways, that was...
More people need Wikipedia.
That was a debate. Holy shit. Let's move on to another...
Probably the most important one we've ever had.
Another very important, fun question from Rick the N. I don't know if I want to give Rick his entire last surname, but... oh god, I just realized that sounds way worse than it actually is.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah, I was like,
now I need to clarify. Okay.
Why are we reading this guy's letter if he did have
No, he did. This is one of those things where it doesn't sound weird until you read it out loud, Like, have you guys seen that children's book named Cooking with Pooh, but it's spelled Pooh?
As in Cooking with Winnie.
Anyways, Nick the Rick here says, I attached a PDF of a book that's just a list of 217 unique questions. I challenge the three of you to choose a random number between 1 and 217 and answer whichever question happens to line up with what you pick.
Oh, damn. I didn't know you were going to actually out our numbers.
I mashed some buttons on the keyboard. The first two were 8 and 7, which associates with the question of, from the book of many questions.
This is specifically for you.
By Gregory Stock, PhD. They clarify for some reason. Which of the following restrictions could you best tolerate? Leaving the country permanently or never leaving the state in which you now live? That's an easy one.
You would leave the country.
Yeah, sure. There have been scientific studies proving that Americans don't really care about their state unless they live in California, New York, or Texas.
Matt, do you feel strongly about California?
I like California a lot, actually.
Oh.
I like it. Would I move? Yeah.
Matt, pick a number between 1 and 217.
Wait. Can I just point out? This numbering system is very much in tune to like how people could describe our personalities. George just mashed 2 keys because he wanted to find out a number because he couldn't decide. I chose the number 69, and Matt didn't give an answer. I think that tells you all you need to know about all 3 of us individually.
200. I'm gonna.
You're gonna go big or go home.
Yeah.
All right, 200.
I'm just gonna pretend Liam didn't say whatever. Insinuate anything. All right. Any conversations? Do you tend to listen or talk more?
Oh my God, these questions are so easy.
Wow.
I wonder.
Wait, is that really the
That's
question?
actually the question. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Wow. Wow.
It knows.
You picked this
It's
question,
sentient.
didn't you?
No,
this was
it's
number
literally
176 or something.
George stopped time and he was like, this is it.
No, I had the PDF in another window when I asked, and that's actually question 200 is, do you listen or talk more? These are personal digs.
All right. Outside the podcast, I do both, actually. I just do both. It depends. I know when to listen and I know when to talk. In conversations, and I tend to meet a lot of people and have conversations and kind of you want to make sure that the other person knows that you're listening, and then then you talk. You don't want to talk over them. Talking too much is, and I think I like to listen more. I do think I like to listen more. I like to observe. I've always been like that.
Oh yeah. You I remember when you lived in Atlanta, half-hour occasions were just like people watching at cons.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was always fun.
Just and then laugh at them or something like that. Oh man.
Oh no, it's not a mean thing.
Yeah, it's not a mean thing.
I need
it was
to clarify
weird at
now
MomoCon though, because the last MomoCon that we went to, because all the young kids were there, and maybe because we were older, I don't know. How long have we been going to MomoCon? A few years. And all the young kids were there with their sweethearts, and it's weird. It's too weird. But yeah, I tend to listen more.
I feel like no matter what answer me and George give, nobody would believe us anyway. It's weird because mine definitely depends on the situation. Everybody's just gonna say, Liam, you talk way too much, but that is because I'm really comfortable with you two. Mm-hmm. But in regards to being out somewhere, if I'm in a place where I don't really know anybody, I find it really hard to talk. I'm quite a social person, but I still find it hard to talk to people who I maybe don't know, like this, and just go off. And then it is a lot easier to listen, and I would prefer to do that than talk.
There's definitely different modes on, for people who do stuff on the internet. There's an online and an offline mode we have.
Yeah, if you know me and you think I talk a lot, then that probably just means I'm comfortable with you.
So if you meet
if you're someone listening to this and you know me personally,
you know what that means.
And I don't talk to you, then you should probably leave me alone.
You stay quiet so you walk away.
I'll never walk away. I'll always be kind and I will listen, but inside I will be dying.
Oh God, I have to rethink a bunch of conversations I've had with you over all these years. Oh God, I can't count how many times I've said something really stupid.
Oh my God.
That's just huge.
That's the greatest, when you just rethink all the conversations. You're like, well, why did I even say that? I'm so stupid.
Who am I?
Liam, you picked 69, right? Because you thought it was funny.
Because I thought I wasn't going to be outed for the number with which I chose.
Well, how did you think you would get away with you picked the novelty number, the dirty number?
To be fair, I had no idea why you were asking me a number in the first place.
Well,
Well, now we know.
It's very indicative. It's just very indicative of who we are. Matt didn't give an answer, and I chose a stupid one.
Question
Probably
number
at work.
69 asks, if a friend were almost always late, would you resent it or simply allow for it? Can you be counted on to be on time?
I'll answer the second one first. I hate being late, and I am always way too early.
Good
Out
man.
of
Good man.
general principle, I'm always...
There's
I'm the
less
same.
and less of those as time goes on.
I am.
And I wouldn't resent them, and I wouldn't allow it. So I would do neither. I would tell them they're late, and I would say, depending on, once again, the situation, please don't be late again.
Ooh.
Like...
Yeah, how do you be
if we-
stern but polite about that? Because it can be annoying.
It depends. Like, if it's a friend who's always late about something, you just joke with them, like, dude, you're always late. What the hell? Or if you're, like, trying to get a bus, or you're trying to, like, organize a trip, and you're late because of somebody fucking around or something, like...
It's not a
then
party.
Maybe you are a bit more stern. You're like, hey, dude, come on. Like, what the fuck? You've made us all wait. Like, now we've missed this, or... Or if you're at work and it's even worse and you've got like a meeting and someone's late and you're delaying a meeting that has been scheduled and stuff like that, it can be frustrating.
So it depends on the consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make
I
sure
think.
he pays his own ticket. And if he's late to the airport, then he's late to the airport, you know?
Yeah. Like for me, that is like, I'll go to an airport like 4 hours early. I'd rather just sit and play my Switch or listen to music for 4 hours than the prospect of having 2 hours extra at home and then potentially missing my flight.
You just never know. You never know. Something tends to happen sometimes.
Absolutely. And also, because someone was like, will you allow it or resent it, I don't even want to risk someone resenting me for being late. So I'll just turn up early.
Yeah.
I don't want someone thinking bad because I was late.
Yeah, I'm always the first at George's house. Always. Every time. I was like, where is everybody?
I went to a party on Saturday an hour later because I thought people will have turned up because I felt uncomfortable going there because I didn't know a few people. Still turned up and I was like the third person there. And I was like, well, this is just my nature.
Yeah. All right. Wow. We just stopped. This is a dead stop. No.
Dead
no
stop.
jokes,
Wait.
no nothing.
Right at 2 hours.
Wait, there was George, you didn't read the PS from Jamie P, which I feel like is a fitting ending to the podcast.
Oh, Jamie P does not ask, but instead just said at the end of their email, P.S. Did you know if you swap the starting sounds in Dad and Son, it turns into Sad and Done?